Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon. Hey guys, Vandy is back into the Card 5 Vanguard deck profile. If you enjoyed them, to like, comment, subscribe, and so start, shall we? This time we're covering Lyrical, Monasterio, Luticia, set 3 deck profile. So, Luticia, however you choose to call her, you know, the Ghost Girl grade 3, that just happens to be second version of Felty Rosa combined with Zorga in terms of aesthetics. Honestly, she's not the worst ride line. That belongs to someone else in terms of who I like more. Leafla, you know who I'm referring to. So yeah, take that as you will. Luticia all around though is a decently fun deck. It's not super fun, but like it's fun enough. So let's go and get the deck profile started, shall we? First up, we have our starter in physical training from scratch, Luticia. So grade 0 boost, 5k show, 6k base. Autumn Rotopunk, you win second draw card. You know, it's a free draw if you win second. For all of you, you know, attracted to it other than its skill, I don't know, maybe because of 2 circle-like objects in the center of the body, please refrain from this video. Go ahead, click off, take a few minutes, go relax yourselves, and then come back when you're feeling a little less pervish. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this joke. So, you can really make anything your starter, except for once, technically it is more beneficial to have this as your starter. Not by a lot, but just in case. So make this your starter just cause. Then we have Demonic Fever Garviera with our first trigger being our over, obviously. Grade 0 boost, 50k power, 50k shield, 5k power, over trigger, when over trigger, when there's a trigger, move that card, draw a card, choose one of your units, I guess plus minute for the turn. And if you revealed it during draw check, activation effect, which is during this fight, you get during your turn all your rear guards get plus 10. Essentially, the second you sack this is game. I mean, not guaranteed because this deck, while yes it does have multi-attack, is the only Lyrical Monasterio deck to my knowledge that restands the Vanguard and doesn't restand the rear guards. Meaning this over trigger isn't instant death the second you see it, unless you're at 5 damage, and then this is just immediate gain because it's the over. But it does make your rear guards a lot more dangerous, which is very helpful because what I noticed in Luticia is she doesn't hit super amazing numbers. I mean, she still hits really good numbers, but she doesn't hit like Bastion, where Bastion hits like a fucking truck. And since we have Leafla over here and Kari, yeah, we need to have more things that hit like trucks. So Garviera's all really nice. You can really make it any over you want, but she is here because she fits the theme the most of Luticia, which apparently is Elf. But when I first saw Luticia, I thought she was knockoff Felty Rosa, so that's what I'm going with. And since this is the over in Felty Rosa, she's also the over here. Also, I just love the blue flames. I don't know why I've been so attracted to blue flames lately, but I have. So yeah, Garviera's over. And then we have our normal triggers, 3 copies of Transparent Snowy Knight Beretoi, grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 4k base. Draw trigger contains guard circle. If your opponent's vanguards are grade 3 or greater, gets plus 5k shield. Cool, to 10k shield. The draw helps get hand cards. There's really nothing more I can explain about this. I don't know what other people will say about building Luticia, but to the people that probably run, you know, more effective trigger lineups than I do, for the record, she is here for the reason of it's just helpful to have the draw, you know? I mean, because what I've noticed with this deck is this deck hates me and doesn't want to give me really good soul targets, so I have to rely on the draw trigger to fetch them for me. So yeah, Beretoi's here because I actually need her, because my units won't show up in soul. So yeah, if you're having good luck, don't run her. If you are having good luck, if you aren't having good luck, run her at 4 copies. But I'm running her at 3 because just with 3 of her, I see enough of them. So yeah, 3 of Beretoi. She saves my ass when it comes to the aggressive because she actually gets me my units. Then we have 4 copies of Spirituoso Ricciolda. So grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 5k power. Okay, for all of you about to scream at me, why am I running this front over the other front? Here's why. 1, moon. Already that should prove enough reason. If any of you know me, we all know I love the moon. We all know my bias plays into when I play card games. Clearly this would be a good enough reason for the normal masses. But for those of you who that's not a good enough excuse, I do like the referring Virtuoso to this, because obviously Spirituoso, Virtuoso, clearly almost the exact same spelling. And then Ricciolda. So I play in Inazuma 11 for those of you who don't know, and one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character in Inazuma 11 in general, both the original series Go and Aries all combined, is Ricardo Dorigo. I forgot what his Japanese name is. I think it's like Shindo Takudo, but I prefer Ricardo. So Ricardo Dorigo. I can't do it on the first name, but I can do it on the last name. But point is, he's my favorite character. He's typically referred to as the Virtuoso, comes the Spirituoso part. And look at that, Ricardo, Rick. Ah, yeah. So, yeah, that's why this front's here. Also because I have really good luck with this front. So, I'm not saying the other front's bad. No, all the things that line up towards my biases are in this card, and I'd be stupid not to run it in the deck that fits this theme the most. So, 4 of Spirituoso. Then we have 4 copies of Surreal Voice Gilberta. She's here because she's an elf and no other reason alone. Grade 0 boost, 15k shield, 5k base. Just a cool looking crit though. I gotta give it that. It has a cool looking background. I'm not too into on the fairy things, but I do like this orange thing, which I can't figure out what that is. But yeah, 4 of the crit. She's just nice to have. Having a restanding Vanguard crits on it, just deadly. So 4 of. Then we have our 4 normal heals in Languid, Relaxation, Marguerite, grade 0 boost, 15k shield, 5k power. Okay, we see the moon. We don't need to discuss this any further. But yeah, we all know why I don't like the effect heals. If you don't know why I don't like the effect heals, it's simply because they're a little bit too situational. Yeah, a lot of decks now have ways to restand because Bushy is making very much sure that those heals have effects. And then like the extra crit ones happen rarer, but they still happen every now and again. But I don't like having those effect heals because in the situation where either your opponent's not restanding or before they restand, those heals are a -5 to you. And unless you're playing Flagberg, typically the restanders don't happen till your opponent's Vanguard attacks. Meaning the first few attacks, you're going to have a lot of guarding power be thrown down for those. Which means you might even lose those heals before the second attack and then some because the heals don't have enough guard to block it the first time around. So I prefer the normal heals because while they have less shield overall, in the long run, if they're not going to restand or before they restand, this will be better, especially because when they restand, typically they get a little bit more power out of it, and that's typically the one you take at the end unless it has the crit because it's simply the strongest number. So, in my opinion, I don't like the effect heals. If you want to run the effect heals, go ahead, but they are way too risky in my opinion, so I run 4 of the normal heals. Then we move on to our grade 1s. First up, let's talk about the most important card in this deck, arguably more important than our main grade 3 itself, and that is our 2 orders. One's a Blitz, one's a normal. The first one being the Blitz order, and that is Anathema Bitter Tickle. I said that all completely wrong. Let me try that again. Anathema Bitter Twinkle. There we go. Grade 1, Blitz order. Play it if you have a Vanguard Luticia in its card name. Put this to Soul. Choose one of your units. It gets plus 15 for the battle. If you have Soul, has 4 more Cursed Plays, draw a card. Yeah, so the orders are Cursed Plays. The whole point of this deck is to get a bunch of Cursed Plays and Soul proc off effects. So let's just get this straight right out the way. Both of these orders are grade 1s. And now that may not seem like a big deal to you when orders are once per turn, but let me make sure that you understand this. These orders are grade 1s. Meaning, if you don't understand what I'm saying, go to my channel, find the video where I had Luticia go up against, I think it may have been Lifla, I don't know who it was up against, but go find the video that has Luticia fighting, go to, I think it's either the 3rd or 2nd game, and you'll understand what I mean. Because that means this deck that requires orders can get going on grade 3 turn while you're at grade 2. They have a 15k defender that activates regardless of what grade you're on, as long as you're on grade 1, because your Vanguard will always be a Luticia in this deck. It's a free 15, it goes to Soul, which is the deck's main gimmick, and if you had 4 more Curse Plays, which is very easy to hit in this deck because they're both grade 1s, it's a free draw. You are crazy not to run this at a 4 of. It is a free 15 that activates at all times, it's a 4 of. Also, this looks like a lot more like a set order than a, Blitz order, you know, considering the background, but and especially her stance too, but you know what, screw it, it's still a good card, so 4 for obvious reasons. And then we have the other one, which makes this deck so stupidly consistent, because one of these being a Blitz order and one of them being a normal order means that you can do it twice as fast. I understand it, why they did it this way, because that makes the deck super consistent, but just with 2 orders, they could not print any more Curse Plays, and honestly, that'd be a good thing, because we have so many ways to abuse the fuck out of the opponent right now. Extra power, extra calls, all while they're at grade 1, like, yeah, because Curse Sugar Sparkle over here, I felt so weird saying that, which also looks like a sub order, by the way. Grade 1, normal order, play if you have a Vanguard of Luticia in its card name. Look at that, it also works at grade 1. Put this to Soul, Soul charge 1, choose up to 1 card from your Soul and call the grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, call to ring gets plus 5. Okay. So what if you're a grade 1 and you can only call a grade 1 or 0 from your Soul? Guess what? You still get 2 free Soul, 1 from its skill and then 1 from itself, and then you still get a rear guard for free, which will most likely be your starter if you're playing this on grade 1 turn. Quite literally, this deck can get going the second you draw an order. The second you draw an order, it's game time. Your opponent already has to like play defensively and hope that you don't get to grade 3, because the second you do, we're on a rush. I don't know what the fuck Bushy was thinking when they made this. I don't know who was high in the game design room was like, you know what, fuck it, let's just give this deck the most consistent order spamming basis ever. Sure, why not? But whoever did, good on you. I hope this doesn't become broken, buddy. So 4 of Curse Sugar Sparkle. It's just a good-ass order, and so is this one because they can both be played from the get-go as long as your Vanguard's Luticia. And honestly, Luticia is not a bad ride line itself, so I could see no reason why you wouldn't. Then we have our normal grade 1s, our units first, which is Board of Class Modete, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto when it's put on rear guard. When it's placed on rear guard, if your Vanguards are grade 3 or greater Luticia, Crown Boss 1 choose a cursed play from your drop and put it to hand. Oh! So now when you discard your cursed plays, because ride deck and you didn't have any better options, or maybe you had to soul blast one, or maybe you soul blasted one on accident. This just recycles for you, because this deck doesn't counter boss much. I'm starting to see a trend in just like, we're 3 cards in terms of normal card, like we're 3 cards in terms of grade 1s, and I'm already seeing like stupid levels of consistency within 5 seconds. If this is good, if this is bad, I don't know how to feel about this. I feel a little bit 50-50 on it. Either way, this is a good grade 1, 4 of. It's a recycler. Why not run a recycler out of 4 of? Then we have our 4 PGs and musical activity nickeling. Yes, because outside of the ride line grade 1, this is all the grade 1s you need. You want to know why? Because these 2 are your main playmakers and they do such a good job at it. And then this just gets your main playmakers. There's another 2 cards in here that fit your main playmakers. At this point, I'm questioning the logic of this. Like, yeah, fuck it, let's just make Luticia fun. Anyways, Nickeling is a continuous action. Only have 4 sounds in the deck, and auto is put on guard circle. Choose a unit, cannot pay a ton to battle, and if you have 2 or more hand cards, discard from hand discard. Standard PG, not special. Basically, that means if this is only one of the cards in your hand when you place it on guard circle, you do not have to discard. And that's all around really nice because typically my units tend to not show up in Soul when I need them to when I use Curse, Trigger, Sparkle, meaning I have to draw them out via other means, either normal drawing, Cursed, not Curse, Trigger, Sparkle, Twinkle's effect, or just draw triggers. So, you know, the PG, and then I have to call them rear guard from my hand, so I have to lose hand cards. So having the PG that basically means I can use even 1 hand card or even 2 hand cards, is, counting herself by the way, is pretty nice. So, you know, run the 4 PG. It's good to have. They're all very cheap for all of you that are wondering that. Yeah, but also at the same time, technically you don't need PGs. You want to know why? I only see 2 of these a game, technically speaking, that end up in my hand, and one of them I have to search. And you want to know what? Half the time with just these 2, I bring the game to a stalemate, to where it's literally either I will deck out first, or my opponent will just trigger stack me that much more. So, yeah, this is a deck where I can argue maybe you don't need a PG, but you know what, just in case, I put the PG in here because I like having the PG, so 4 of Nickeling. Then we have our last grade 1, which is the ride line grade 1, and that is staying in even on days off Luticia. Girl, you and me both, let me tell you something. So, fuck, why did that sound so weird in my head? Anyways, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Auto when it's placed on, when it's wrote upon by a grade 2 with Luticia and its card name, put a hand card to your bottom, and then search your deck for up to 1 curse, play card, reveal, put it to your hand, shuffle your deck. Okay, let me get this straight. By just simply riding to any Luticia grade 2, meaning if they end up printing another one, we can just have that one instead of the current one, and then put a hand card to bottom, so we're recycling triggers now. Get a cursed place, we either get the Blitz Order or the Cursed Trigger Sparkle, which can both go off now. Add it to your hand, and then you can shuffle said trigger back into your deck. Yes, okay, I understand. Whoever made this was clearly high and didn't understand gameplay balance, because that, again I say, free fucking orders. Like, come on, we have orders, we can play. This deck gets going the second you get to grade 2. Like, in case you bricked and you didn't get either of these in your hand, guess what? This just gets you one of them. One of in the ride deck. Like, if it had a rear guard skill, honestly, it would be too good to have a rear guard skill. Unless the rear guard skill was like, it just gets +2, and even then, that'd honestly be a little bit too good considering what this deck is capable of. So, one of in the ride deck. Like, when I say what might be capable of, you all may be thinking I'm joking. No, this deck can hit things if you let it. So, one of in the ride deck, because fuck it. Then we move on to our grade 2s. 3 copies of Drifting in the Pure Land Ludwig. Listen, you have plenty of soul. This thing is just going to be a piece of cake to use. Grade 2s have 5k shield, 10k base. Act rear once per turn if your soul has 2 or more curse play cards. Oh, yes, because one of them is searchable. Or sorry, both of them are searchable, and one of them can hit the soul guaranteed. And then the other one, you just have to draw a second one of it. And then she'll just get +10 by soul blasting a card. So, simple +20. Or not +20, just a simple 20. If you're on a Persona ride, +30. Or, sorry, not +30, +24 or 30. This thing's just good. It hits numbers. That's all it needs to do. It has the most consistent base in this deck, which is soul. Not a lot of cards in this deck use soul. You have plenty of soul to go through. And if you have to soul blast a curse play, guess what? There's this thing to fetch it right back. No reason not to run this out of 3 of. She gets good numbers. If you want to run her 4 because maybe you want that better more chance to see her, go ahead, run her 4, but I prefer the 3 of because I see her just enough and she gets good numbers. Then we have 4 copies of Overflow Happiness Nostria. No offense to her, but for the record, this is the least useful grade 2 in this deck. You want to know why? She never shows up when I need her to, and then the occasions where she does, she immediately gets discarded for PGs or as a 5k guard simply because I'd rather have my other rear guards. And not that in the sense that I don't have to have the other rear guards, I just want them over her because I just don't like her. So yeah, take that as you will. Either way, great chance if I can shield 10k base. Auto, when she's placed on rear, if you have a Vanguard of Luticia in its card name, look at top 3, choose one card from among them, put it to soul, put the rest to bottom. Okay, for the record, let me pack this one more time. 1 is placed on rear. Doesn't mean by effects, doesn't mean by normal, it just means placed on rear, which means you can place from hand, soul, drop, deck, fuck it, damage zone, and it will still go off. So regardless of how you place it, if you place it at all, top 3, one of them's going to soul, and one of them goes, and the rest go to bottom. You know what? Even if you see a curse play, this isn't a bad thing. You want to know why? This gets you a free curse play. And then auto rear when it attacks, if you have Soul has 2 or more curse plays, she gets +5. So you know the 15k swing, and then if you had 4 or more, she gets +15 instead of +5. So you know having the 4 or more is really the deck's main focus. Having 2 is super fucking easy. 4 is like occasionally difficult. It's not too hard, but like it kind of just relies on you seeing the curse plays in the first place. But yeah, that 25, don't fuck with her. But like I said, even then, I don't ever call her to rear, and this deck still hits bullshit numbers. So, you know, she's here. So basically, if you fight me and you kill my rear guards, I want you to know you have unleashed a hell upon you because I don't like calling over my rear guards. So if you play against me and I'm using this deck and you kill my front or rear guards, you have unleashed the Kraken and it's your fault for what happens next. So for Monasterio, she is my hidden ammo that will be used when I need her. Just a good grade 2. Then we have our last grade 2, the one of Ride deck card, Heavy Leaning on Expectations Luticia, grade 2 5k shield, 10k base. Continues Van, if your soul has a curse play card, when you would ride from, grade 3 Luticia from your Ride deck, you can ride it by soul blasting 1 card of Luticia in its card name instead of choosing a card from hand and discard it. So we got another Ride deck changer and all around that's pretty good. The downside is she has to soul blast Luticia, but on the upside, typically, you can soul blast the grade 0 or her, which is why I do say you want the grade 0 as your starter, just in case, like, because maybe you rode this and you didn't have a curse play in hand to begin with, so then you used her skill to fetch this one, and then you called her from soul via the order, so then, you know, now you have the grade 0 in soul, so I do suggest having that, but at the same time, she does just say soul blast a Luticia card, meaning that if you manage to soul charge the grade 3 off your curse trigger sparkle, even though that does suck, because that means you lost a persona ride, you can at least soul blast it. So all around, good grade 2. Honestly, if we did get a different grade 2, I won't argue against it, but it's just a good card nonetheless, so one of in the right deck. Then we have our grade 3s. 4 copies of Literally Act Carissa. So grade 3 Twin Jet Persona Ride, 13k base. I love her hairstyle. I don't know why. She also seems like the sportsy girl. We all know I'm into the tomboys. And auto rear when she attacks a Vanguard. If your soul has 2 or more curse plays, like I said, easiest thing to pull off with this deck, considering you get 1 for free. Literally, if you're not getting 2 curse plays in soul every game, you brick. It's not the deck's fault. It is just you bricking because quite literally, I've used the same deck over and over and over again. There's never been a game where I haven't hit at least 2 curse plays. So, Soul Blast 1, it gets +10 for the battle. At the end of the battle, put it to Soul. Okay, replaces the Soul you blasted. Hopefully, you don't have to Soul Blast a curse play. She's a 23k swing without Persona Rides or boosters. What's not to like about her? She's just good to have, hits the numbers, does everything you need her to. 4 of, because she also opens up rear guard circles being here too. So, like I said, 4 of, just a good grade 3. And then move on to our last card, and it's our main grade 3. 3 of in the main deck, 1 of in the ride deck of Grimoire, Etoile, Luticia. Grade 3, 200, Persona Ride, 13k base. See, this is why I thought she was a ghost, because literally fucking look at this shit. Like, oh my god, I'm trying to think of it, like the, not talisman, but like the ceiling circles. God damn it, I can't think of what they're called now. Anyways, auto van, when you play a normal order, she gets +5 for the turn. Okay, please note that she doesn't say any normal order. So, I mean, so she does say, she doesn't specify an order, meaning if you play any normal order, whether it's her curse plays or not, she will still get the +5. The best part about this is she isn't a once per turn. If you can't see, but she is hinting at either there will be another part in Luticia's support where you can play more than 1 cursed order a turn, or they're implying they want you to play Willista with this because Willista has that one really good grade 3 card that says when you play True Hearted Ruby, you can give her +10 and then play another order that turn. I don't remember if that specific grade 3 requires you to have Willista on your Vanguard, but if she doesn't, well, but she is instigating a combo and they want you to know it. And then auto van, once per turn, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, counterblast 1, perform all the following according to the number of curse plays in your soul. 2 or more, draw a card, this unit gets +5 for the turn, AK, always guaranteed to happen. And 4 or more, at the end of the battle, discard 1 card from your hand, stand this unit and lose a drive for the turn. Okay, again I say, the first part of that, the 2 or more one, most likely is going to happen every game unless you brick severely, because you're always guaranteed 1, so you have to brick really hard not to see 1. And then 4 or more, okay, that's where it's kind of difficult, but from what I've learned from this deck is if I end up seeing 2 orders in my opening hand, I'm guaranteed to hit the 4th one at some point before I get to grade 3. That's how I've used this deck, though, and how I've experienced it. But yeah, so getting that free stand with a drive mine is pretty nice. It makes this thing like the best thing to swing with first. You want to know why? Extra drives. You get total 3 drives, start sacking crits and fronts, and then just put them all in your front row and start swinging for big-ass numbers. Luticia's all around a good card. She gets you a draw. Technically, you have 4 drives. Technically, because she gets you that draw, which isn't a drive, but 1 hand card, the 2 drives from the first attack, so 3, and then the 4th attack, so 4. 4 hand cards at once, and typically I hit a draw for drives, so 5 hand cards at once for me. All around, pretty good. Gets numbers, even though there's minuscule numbers, unless that 1 grade 3 actually does work without Relista, then in that case you can hit decently big numbers if you find a way to loop the orders back into your hand, but pretty good. And she's a simple cost of a counterblast, and she only shares the counterblast cost with this one, meaning you can use her skill pretty much whenever you want. Just good. 3 of it's amazing. It gets decent numbers. It gets the soul, gets the restand, gets the draws. What's not to like? That's it for the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. All around, this deck, like I said, is not extremely fun for me. Like, it's simply because it just feels like Zorga, kind of. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because those 2 orders make me feel like it's Zorga, and then the aesthetic kind of looks like a little bit of Zorga and Feltirosa combined. But all around, this deck is genuinely really fun to play, and it feels good to play. Like, it doesn't feel like Lifla, where it kind of feels, or not Lifla. Who was the deck I said it was before? What is the deck profile I just did before this? Fuck, I can't remember what it is now. It's the one that aired on Monday. Okay, well, point is, whatever deck it is that is currently evading my thought process, it doesn't feel like that deck where it feels super generic playing. It feels really nice playing this deck, getting that restand on Van, getting the literal consistent amount of orders. It's just a dream. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord, follow Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.